Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well today. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to add to your Link holdings. You guys who follow me pretty closely know that I've been very optimistic about the token for a little bit less than a year now. At times it could take a little while before these tokens begin to make their parabolic moves up. And while we're waiting, I figured why not introduce some ways for you guys to add to your position without having to take on too much risk. Before we begin the video, I wanted to ask you guys to consider joining my Discord channel by clicking the link in the description below, because based on the feedback that I've been getting from the community, it seems like it's the place to be. You get to converse with like-minded individuals. If you have any problems, questions, or inquiries, the community will be happy to address them. Also, if you have trouble keeping up with all the latest developments, I myself am posting articles in there, and plus many other members have taken the initiative to post articles on a regular basis to help keep everybody informed and updated. The link is only going to be active for the first 50 clicks, so I encourage you guys to move fast and check out the Discord channel to see what it's all about. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this video review. To start off with, let me go over what motivated this video. I was scrolling through my Twitter feed and I saw this tweet by Mark Zeller, who's the integration lead at AAVE, and I recommend following the guy because he tends to drop gems like this all the time. But he sent out this tweet: link to AAVE, borrow ETH with high collateralization with a borrow rate of 1.79%, ETH into DMM, health factor alert on HAL, enjoy free money. Never sell Link. Use your Link to get more Link. And before we go into the step-by-step tutorial, let me explain this to you guys conceptually. So what he's proposing here is to take your Link, put it into the AAVE money market protocol, borrow ETH against it with high collateralization, so you get a very low borrow rate of 1.79%. You take that ETH and you put it into DMM, which is basically a money market account where you can generate interest or yield against real-world income-generating assets. After this, he recommends setting up a health factor alert using HAL. And if you go over here to HAL's website, you can basically enter your address, just basically type in your health factor parameter here. That way you're alerted when you're approaching a critical level. Because since you're collateralizing against an asset that fluctuates in value, if the value of the underlying collateral drops too much too fast, it could potentially trigger a liquidation event. And so what you're basically doing is you're taking your Link to borrow an asset that you normally wouldn't have, in this case being ETH. For the sake of this example, I'm going to use made up numbers. Let's say you had 1,000 Link and that qualified you to take out a loan for 10 ETH. That 10 ETH would be earning a rate of 6.25% in the DMM account. Meanwhile, that loan you took out from AAVE, you're paying 1.79%. So essentially, we're talking about a relatively low-risk arbitrage opportunity. So to get started, you got to come over here to the AAVE website. I included all the links that you're going to need for this video in the description below. That includes any referral links that are associated with any of these platforms. That way you have a nice, convenient way to access all those links, plus an opportunity to take advantage of the small bonuses they may or may not offer. Once you're on this page, you want to access the AAVE money market protocol. You can use any one of these wallets. If you wanted a more thorough review of the platform, I've done a couple of reviews in the past. I recommend that you guys check them out by referring to my DeFi playlist. So the first thing you'd want to do is you want to deposit your asset that you want to use as collateral. And to do that, we're going to go over to the home page screen, scroll down to Link. And before you guys come here to Link, make sure the wallet that you connect to the AAVE protocol has a Link in it. Then you want to go ahead and deposit Link into the AAVE protocol. Go ahead and click on ETH, because compared to DAI and USDC, which is also on DMM, you can borrow ETH at a relatively low rate, and you can see the 30-day average is about 1.45%. So go ahead and click borrow, and the maximum amount that you can borrow is going to be dependent on the amount of Link you've deposited. And so even though I haven't deposited Link for this tutorial, I have a little bit of collateral on the platform. So let's say I do 25%. That's a relatively safe amount, and you can see the variable borrow rate here is 1.72%. I'll click on continue and we'll select variable and click on continue. And when you're here, it'll give you a summary of the transaction that you're about to submit. I'm getting to borrow ETH at a variable rate of 1.72%. And obviously this rate can fluctuate, but if you look at the 30-day average, historically speaking, we haven't really seen the rates for ETH jump much, so there's not a really high risk of that happening. And at the bottom here, you have the health factor. And you want to keep this above 1 because as this number approaches 1, you're putting yourself at a high risk for liquidation. Given that we have very busy lives, you have an option to be alerted by coming over here to Hal's website, which I'll also link in the description below. But by entering your Ethereum address and entering the health factor alert parameters here, you can actually get sent an email or a post to Discord, post to Twitter, notifying you that you're approaching a certain level. So here, for example, let's say I wanted to be notified when the health factor rate dropped below 1.2. So with that set up, you can come over here to DMM and you can lend out your ETH for a rate of 6.25%. Now, rather than using this app where you have to convert your ETH into wrapped ETH and then deposit it into this protocol, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a quick shortcut to that. If you've been watching my videos, you've heard of this already, but this is basically a DEX aggregator that helps you achieve the best rate by splitting your order amongst multiple DEXs. So again, normally you would have to convert your ETH into wrapped ETH before you can interact with any of these DeFi protocols. But with this, you can actually go directly into METH. And basically what you're doing here is you're taking a shortcut. Instead of you manually converting ETH to wrapped ETH and then depositing it into the money market protocol, you just go ahead and do this one transaction here, and this DEX aggregator will take care of the rest. And in case you didn't know what MTH was, it's basically like a redemption ticket. So when you deposit ETH into the money market account, for all the ETH that you deposit into the protocol, it'll give you an equal amount of MTH. And MTH is basically like your redemption ticket. It's kind of like CDAI or A tokens. As your ETH gains interest, you automatically will get more METH. So when the time comes and you want to redeem your ETH, all you need to do is convert your METH into ETH. That way you'll get all the ETH that you deposited into the money market protocol back into your hardware wallet. Now, if you still don't understand what's going on and you wanted me to clarify some points, you can reach out to me on Discord. You can also message me on Twitter, and feel free to comment down below. And if you guys are new to this DeFi stuff, I'd recommend just playing around with it a little bit before you guys do something a little bit more complex. If you have BAT tokens or if you have any USDC or DAI that's in other accounts, why not lend it out here? You can get a rate of 6.22% on your BAT tokens by just depositing it into the AAVE protocol. In fact, you don't even need to interact with the AAVE protocol directly. You can do that all through the DEX aggregator. You can take your BAT tokens and here type in that you want to convert them into AAVE interest-bearing BAT tokens. And when you do that, you'll automatically start gaining interest on your BAT tokens after you execute this transaction. So it'll basically do the exact same thing you did with ETH with the DeFi money market account, except it'll put it into the AAVE money market protocol instead. Now, before I show you guys the easy way to generate extra link for yourselves, I just wanted to quickly do a risk assessment overview. Whether you're working with a DeFi platform or you're working with a Cefi platform, there's inherent risks to both. But truthfully speaking, lending and borrowing is a core component to finance. So to me, the notion of putting your assets away into a hard wallet and putting it into your closet and never touching it again, I think it's ridiculous because there's no way you're going to have a flourishing and functioning economy if you don't have borrowing and lending. What people need to do is assess their risk and decide how much risk they're willing to take with their assets. For some, that might mean putting away a percentage of your assets on cold storage and then keeping a percentage on DeFi or Cefi platforms. With DeFi, you're basically trusting code. You're trusting these smart contracts that are mediating all these transactions. And given that this industry is very young, it's very new, there's a chance that the code may have bugs, there may be a backdoor that they're unaware of, and savvy hackers could take advantage of these exploits. With Cefi, you're giving your assets to a third party. You're giving it to an entity who's going to be acting on your behalf. Anytime you take your funds off, whether you put it onto an exchange, or you put it onto one of these lending platforms, you are taking some risk because you no longer have control over your assets. But most of these lending platforms, these Cefi platforms, they engage in over-collateralized lending. So they take your assets and they lend it to other people, but when they lend it, they take in more than they give out. So for example, if you wanted to borrow $5,000 from Bitrue or Celsius, you would probably have to give up at least $10,000 worth of assets. So from that standpoint, it really is as safe as it gets when it comes to loans. What I worry about, and what maybe you guys may worry about, is what happens in between that. When these funds are shifting hands, shifting entities, there's a chance that something may happen that may result in the loss of user funds. So given all that, you guys have to decide for yourself if you want to use a platform like Bitrue or any one of these Cefi DeFi platforms. But on Bitrue, they currently have this promotional rate for Link. It was recently added, much like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, which both started at 7.3% before their rates were reduced. Link is likely to see a rate reduction after their promotional rate is over. So I've personally decided to take full advantage of this. I have some of my Link on the platform earning 7.3% interest. Unlike the DeFi method, this method is a lot easier. If you wanted to learn more about it, I have a whole list that I made for Bitrue videos. You can check that out by clicking the link in the description or watching this video until the very end. And basically all you need to do is deposit your tokens into the Power Piggy and you'll start earning 7.3% annualized gains that's paid out to you daily. With the DeFi model, you have to take a lot of steps. You're going to be spending gas and you're going to earn less than 7.3%. I think you're probably going to earn somewhere between 4 to 5%. And in my newsletter, I hired one of my buddies from school. He has assets on BlockFi, Crypto.com, Bitrue, and Celsius. And what he does in my newsletter on a weekly basis, he publishes his experience on these platforms. And he details all the pros, the cons, how much he's earned to date. And all this is for free. To sign up, all you need to do is click on the link in the description. It'll take you to the Substack website where you just go ahead and enter your email address and you guys will receive copies via email every week. There is also a premium version to this newsletter where you guys will get legacy market analysis, exclusive token reviews, crypto news updates, DeFi news, account earnings, portfolio updates, and you'll get all this in real time rather than having to wait for a video. And if you're new to the space, and even if you're a veteran of the space and you don't have time to do the research, you guys might want to take a look at my Patreon page. Basically, when you buy a service here, you're hiring a personal analyst who does industry research on your behalf. And that's why all my patrons who signed up and who interface with me on a regular basis, they knew about the DeFi wave well before it came. In an effort to give my patrons more value, I've decided to give them a premium membership of Substack, which is valued at $10 per month. They'll be getting that as part of their Patreon package. So if you're interested in hiring yourself a digital asset industry analyst, make sure to click the link in the description below to check out this Patreon page. Well, that pretty much wraps things up. This is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.